Warning. Society has deemed a number of conversation topics as rude to discuss in polite company. Luckily, those rules don't apply here. Welcome to Impolite Company. The host of Impolite Company, Chris Sear.
So in Missouri, they're going to do this thing with the medical marijuana dispensaries when they open them. They're just going to be everywhere. Like, you go in and you buy your little seltzer water or your soda pop or whatever, and you drink it, and then it relaxes you, and you have a fun time, and that's cool. But, like, so all these places are eventually, like, let's look at the real business model. It's to eventually sell pot. And the problem with that is a lot of Missouri banks are already saying they're not going to handle any of the money from it. And that's a problem, like, everywhere these places open. It's because you go in and banks are like, if we take your money, the federal government's going to tell us that selling drugs is bad and that getting money from drugs is bad. And there's a law about getting ill-gotten gains, and then the government can take everything, and then the government owns the bank, and the government tells George Bailey that you can't build any more houses for poor people, and then eventually an angel comes down, and Donald Trump's got to see what life is like without him. And even though it's like a utopian dream of just wonderment and free medical care and open borders with driverless Ubers everywhere, and the world be better place, the angel lets Donald Trump come back and have his life, and drugs are bad again, and when all that money is still missing from the banks. Which is only a problem. Like, who cares about the banks, right? The banks don't need money. The banks make money. That's not the problem. The problem is that the little guy who's selling pot at the local dispensary now can't make his mortgage payment, all because he put his money somewhere other than his mattress. And I see that problem, but I don't think they've, like, realized how easy it is to launder money. Like, that's the simple solution. Launder your money. Like, if I was a financial professional, which I am not. So, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh man, Dave Ramsey's giving some weird advice, or if you're like, Susie Orman didn't tell me that, that's because they're dumb. But you probably should take more financial advice from them than me. But if you were sitting across from me at a Starbucks, paying me to tell you how to best make money in the marijuana dispensary business, the answer is simple: launder your money. And it's so easy. Like, you don't need a mob attorney to launder $100,000. You don't need, like, some magic guy who knows how to go and take all your money over to the Grand Cayman Islands, slide it across a counter in a manila envelope to a British dude who's been exiled from England because he married a 13-year-old, and you're not allowed to do it there, but you can do it in the Cayman Islands because everything's legal in the Cayman Islands, right? Like, you don't need that guy who's going to take that manila envelope and he's going to give it to four dudes out back on a moped who drive it down to a local restaurant, who in turn, like, hands that off to a tailor, who hands that off to whoever sells that tailor his thread, and then eventually they give you back 75% of the money that was in that envelope. You don't need that complicated setup. It's way easier to launder your money. There are companies that will, and they did this in Colorado for a little bit. Now they've got workarounds. They've got people that have developed business models of how to funnel cash into dispensaries without ever, like, pissing off the federal government. All you do is you go out, and there are these companies who have ATM machines that they will lease you or sell you that you could put in your store. And you put all your money each day into that ATM, and you call that rent on the ATM. And oddly enough, it's not, there's no law saying you can't do this. Oddly enough, the fee to rent that ATM is exactly what you make each day in sales. I don't know how that works, man. I don't know how this company that rents you the ATM automatically knew how much money you made every day to charge you that as rent. It's weird, but whatever. You need the ATM there. It's convenient for your customers. So you take all the money out of your registers and you put it right there in the ATM. And, like, it sucks. Like, you don't have any money now because it's all in the ATM. But the company that owns that ATM that rents it to you, they're making money. Luckily, you own that company. And so there you go. All your money was just transferred from one company you own to the other. And you're like, Chris, but what about credit cards? What about debit cards? You don't take them. You have an ATM. The people are buying pot from you. They want that. You put that ATM in the corner of your store. You put a $6 ATM fee on it too. Now you are making money to launder your own money. This is way better than the mob would do it. If you paid the mob to launder your money, you're only getting back 60 cents on the dollar if you're lucky. In some cases, you're getting back way less because they come in and then they own your business and they burn it to the ground. You've seen The Sopranos. So you take that ATM, man, and you put all your money in it at the end of the day. If somebody tries to use a debit card, you're like, I'm sorry, I can't take a debit card. You know how the DEA is. And instantly, anybody fighting, it doesn't even matter if it's a real reason. Like, this isn't just for laundering your money. Keep this in mind for anything you do in your business that's inconvenient for the customer. Blame the DEA. Every pothead who buys from you, the moment you say, I'm sorry, man, you know the DEA, you know what they're like. Every pothead you sell to is going to automatically be on your side. In fact, they'll probably tip you. Put a tip jar on the counter, because every time you say, man, the DEA is making this real hard for me to give you what is a legal product, they are going to put an extra $5 in that tip jar if they got it. I mean, they might not have it. They might give you like a hacky sack, or I have a very stereotypical view of who's buying your product. I mean, usually it's people with business degrees who have day jobs and podcasts, but sometimes it's also like people with hacky sacks and who smell like, I don't know, patchouli, stuff like that. And I'm not ripping on patchouli. I'll talk about patchouli in a minute, actually. But so you got this ATM in your corner, and in Missouri, you're like, Chris, I don't want to start a whole new business just to like make money. Well, first of all, that's what businesses are for. But in Missouri, you could start an LLC right now. It's this easy. I will walk you through the steps in real time. You go to sos.mo.gov. Go ahead. No, I want to kind of walk you through it in real time. That'd be boring. Half of you don't want to do this because you're not thinking about laundering money. And the other half is like really thinking about calling your attorney to see if this counts as business advice. But you go to Secretary of State's website. You click on business services, online services. You have to create an account now. It used to be so much easier because you didn't have to create an online account to do it. They didn't track much of you like what you did online. But now you need an account. You do an LLC, man. File an LLC. It's easy. Don't do a C Corp because you're going to have double taxation. And this isn't a finance show, so I won't get into how much bullshit double taxation actually is when people worry about it. But it does kind of sort of exist. There are ways around it. You could do an S Corp if you're planning on giving yourself health insurance, I guess. Like, again, I'm going to say I guess because I don't want to accidentally give you advice. But the LLC is the easiest, and it's really cheap. You create an LLC. You make yourself the only partner of the LLC. You put in your debit card. You pay the $75 fee, I think it is, and then you click create, and then they give you a certificate. That certificate says you're now a registered business in the state of Missouri, which hopefully you know this already because you own the store that's going to become the marijuana dispensary. Somebody did that for you. Probably the mob. We won't get into the fact that most of these are probably owned by organized crime who are waiting for a way to break into a legitimate business that was once illegitimate, but now, like, the pot dispensaries are going to be money laundering operations in themselves. I'm just telling you how to launder your portion of it. So you got this new LLC, right? You can't just use that, though, because that's just a state entity. You need a federal entity. So you go on the IRS website. You go up in that search box. You put, get a new EIN. Boom. It's a first search result on the IRS website, not Google. Don't just Google how to get an EIN. You're going to get some third-party service who's not part of the federal government. They're going to charge you $1 million to do 10 minutes worth of work that's free. I know because I've charged people $1 million, not $1 million. I don't know too many millionaires who would give me their $1 million, but I've charged people way too much money to do this. And I tell them up front, I'm like, man, I'm charging you way too much money to do this. And they're like, I don't care. I don't like clicking. That's all it is. It's clicking. You're gonna click that link on the IRS website, how to get an EIN. You're gonna go there. You're gonna plug in what kind of business you're typing. All right, this is important. When you're telling them what kind of business you're starting, you remember you're starting an ATM rental business. You are not starting a money laundering operation for a marijuana dispensary. If you type that in, they're gonna still give you the information I'm gonna tell you to get. The problem is, someone later is going to read it and go, did we give somebody an EIN for a money laundering business? And then they're going to come and be like really, I mean, they're going to be really annoying after that. And maybe not rightfully so. Like, you should be able to be honest and say, hey, man, I'm just starting a business laundering. I don't know why money laundering is illegal. Like, you're not actually doing anything illegal. You're just taking money from one. Anyway, the point is, you're going to get that EIN. That's a federal ID number now. Your business now exists, like, separate from you. Even though it's an LLC, it can't exist without you, but it exists. It's its own entity. You can take that into a bank. This is the tricky part. You go into the bank, you're going to sit in front of a banker. You could probably do this online. I don't know. It's not like you're putting on your best suit and going down and talking to the guy who also teaches 5th grade math on the weekends at the prison for people who were arrested as juveniles but couldn't go to a normal school. And he teaches 5th grade math to inmates because that's how he gets back to the community. But he only teaches it to the white ones because he's afraid of the black inmates. And I don't know why, because, man, like, he's teaching inmates, like, the majority of blacks incarcerated is way greater than the number of whites incarcerated because our system is systemically, it's rigged. Anyway, the point is, you're not going down to the bank and sitting in front of that guy and just being like, hey, dude, I'm going to open a business. It is definitely not a money laundering operation for pot dispensaries. And he's going to go, okay, well, as long as you said that. No, you're going to sit across from a stranger if you're not on the internet, and you're going to be like, hi, I'm Chris here. Well, you'll probably use your name, but whatever. And I'm opening an ATM rental business. And then the guy, don't wink. When you say ATM rental business, the guy's going to like make an uncomfortable move like he knows what you're really talking about. Don't wink to tell him everything's okay. That wink is going to be the death of you. And I get it, man. I perfected my wink too. Like, I worked for months on my wink game. I would walk around just winking at people. And like, I lost a lot of friends because of it. It's cool because once I got it right, I made a lot of those friends back, and then new friends who appreciated how hard a good wink is, right? But once you develop that good wink game, once you develop that solid, it's a quick like click of the eye, no other acknowledgement of what you just did. Once you get that down, you can't be doing it in business transactions all the time, because sometimes people are going to realize, oh, you're trying to signal me that you're doing something illegal, which again, it shouldn't be. This should just be all freedom of choice. Money is speech, and we have freedom of speech. So why can't I just make my money do other things? And the point is, when you sit across from that banker, you're setting up your bank account. You just tell them, I'm starting an ATM rental business. Boom. Now your ATM rental business has a bank account. Pay all of your dispensary bills from there. How do I do that, Chris? Because your ATM company is also a property management company, and it signed the lease on your building. All your dispensary does is sell a product and pay rent. It's never profitable. It creates no taxable consequence for you on your tax return either, because it doesn't turn a profit. It's just a zero. It's a loss, man. Now, how you report your pot dispensary on your federal income taxes is your business. I would probably just call it a grocery store, but that's just me. I can't tell you what to do. You should talk to your tax professional, and you should talk to your lawyer before you do the ATM thing. But that's it. Now you've gotten around all your federal banking regulations because your pot dispensary does not have a bank account. It never puts money in. It just pays rent. There, I solved your problem, Missouri. Now every pot dispensary should give me, a sample and $1,000 a month. I think if all of them did that, I'd be okay. And it wouldn't cost like that. What is that? What's percentage-wise of that is your profits? And if you're like, well, it's 0% of my profits because I have no profits anymore, congratulations. You've been listening, and now you know how to launder money. It's Impolite Company. It's, what days don't matter. Days don't matter in the internet. I know what day it is for me. It doesn't matter what day it is for you when you're listening to this. Like, you could be driving along to somewhere and just doing your thing, and this is playing in the background. And it's warm enough now almost for the windows to be down. And the dude or the chick or the non-gendered person in the car next to you is like really wondering what podcast or what book on tape you're listening to, where this guy just told you how to like launder your own money. And so hopefully you screamed out your window, listen to ImpoliteCompany.com. And then he took care of that. Man, we're in a studio. So if I sound different than normal, it's because I'm not sitting in a closet in my living room. Well, the closet isn't in my living room. My living room's in my living room. The closet is adjacent to my living room with a bunch of egg foam stapled to the wall. And I call it a closet. It's a room. It's a full room. It's It looks like a closet now. It looks like a really shitty closet with no clothes in it, but a USB mic and a laptop. That's not where I'm at. The point is, I'm in an actual studio in Midtown St. Louis, downtown St. Louis. I think Midtown. We're in the We Are Live studio. So if you're looking for something else to listen to that's exactly like my ramblings, go to weareliveradio.com and check out their show. We're stealing their equipment. I've stolen their producer. Chris Gardner's running boards for me and making sure my microphone's on. And also, he turned a camera on so I could see my fat face talk, which you can't see because I'm not doing video. I don't want to see my face in the morning, much less let other people see my face in the morning. I don't know why I'm turning this into a negative affirmation for myself. You know what? I'm beautiful. You don't have to turn it off. Oh, it's good. I can look at myself too. I don't hate myself. Gardner reaches over and turns off the monitor that was showing me my own face. Man, I really need to drain my sinuses in the morning. I should neti pot when I wake up. That would probably be, you could tell on the days where I wake up too late to take a shower because my sinuses are all puffier than the rest of my face. My face looks a little football-y already, but then the football is a little exploded out in the middle if I don't. So I took a shower today because I left all my sinus fluid in the shower. Is that too gross to talk about? I don't know. I mean, it's our bodies. Bodies are gross. If you hack all the skin off a human body, peel it back, and really dig around, you find some pretty disgusting shit, literally and figuratively. It's amazing what is in there. But anyway, I saw my face and it's like, oh man, my sinuses must be bothering me. I can't tell because the weather in St. Louis has been so weird lately. I've been just injecting Afrin. They're not a sponsor. Afrin right into my face on every 10-minute schedule. And you get addicted to that because it's basically meth in a spray bottle. And it's also menthol. So it's mentholated meth that you just put in a spray bottle. And it's nice. It cleans your sinuses right up and wakes you up at the same time. So, hey, go buy Afrin. If you can't find any meth today, go buy Afrin. Schnucks grocery store here locally in St. Louis sells a generic Vicks inhaler that actually has an amphetamine base in it. So if you're driving cross country tomorrow, buy that inhaler, shove it in your nose, leave it in there, breathe it in the whole time, and you'll be fine. It'll be nice. You'll be wide awake. We got sponsors. Check out our new sponsor, King Edward's Chicken and Fish on Watson. It's at 8654 Watson. They're open today from 11 to 7. Chicken, fish, shrimp, fried cauliflower, French fries, crab cakes, po' boys. I just like saying po' boys. It's not a poor boy, it's a po' boy. You know it's a po' boy. You've been eating po' boys. You've been eating subpar po' boys, haven't you? Well, head out there and get yourself one that's dressed simply, man. It's good. It's got the remoulade on it. I just like saying remoulade. It's got that on it. It's got tomatoes, lettuce. Their andouille po' boy is really good. I'm in the middle of a pescatarian march. I'm not eating meat for the month of March. Not because I've suddenly become Catholic. Just because. I'm like, why not, man? Let's see how long I can go without eating the flesh of another animal. And then I was like, you know what? Fish aren't animals. We're gonna go ahead and eat those. So I go in and I get my 2-piece cod every time I'm in there. Maybe shrimp. It depends on the day. But then I look at all the po' boys and I remember how good that andouille sausage po' boy is. And I'm like, oh, I should give up this no meat thing. It's stupid. Animals deserve to die for my nutrition. And then I don't do it. I try to be a responsible human being. Drinking my fake LaCroix, sorry. No, get in there. They got beer. They got their chicken's so good. That's the part of Meatless March that has really hurting me. It's my favorite chicken place. Randy down there was like, Chris, you come in all the time. You spend so much money on chicken. And we're cheap. It's hard to spend a lot of money here because we don't charge a lot of money for chicken, but you eat a lot of chicken, so it adds up. Why don't I support your life a little? And I was like, Randy, funny you should mention that. You should support my podcast, Impolite Company. And he was like, yeah, man, I'll do that. And I was like, oh, really? I was ready to hard sell you. He's like, well, you gave me all that advice with the ATM machine, and that was free. I was like, well, was it free? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, check them out today. Go by, tell Randy I sent you. Go by right now. Go by and just like yell as you walk in, hey, Chris Sear sent me, and see his reaction. He'll make a face. It'll be good. Fortune Teller Bar at 2635 Cherokee. If you're in the Cherokee neighborhood looking for a cool place to be cool while you drink cool things, stop in, get yourself a craft cocktail made with house-made bitters right there in the Bitters Lab. When you walk in, I tell you this all the time, and I don't think enough people are doing it, because I asked Matt down there, the owner, I was like, hey, when people walk in, are they checking out the ceiling? Are there like a lot of people walking in and looking up the whole time? And he's like, no, man, nobody does that. Literally nobody. And I was like, because I keep warning them they need to. They need to look up at that ceiling because it's such a good ceiling. And like, if you don't, that's where demons are like perched, waiting to dive down on your, no one ever looks up in a horror movie. But they don't. I'm not saying like there's demons in Fortune Teller Bar. Like, I mean, they're playing with mystic forces, so you got to be careful. I'll tell you what I think is a funny story, only to me. I'm not mocking anybody's beliefs here, but it is only funny to me. Well, it might be funny to you, but only to me. I was doing an event for H.P. Lovecraft's birthday. H.P. Lovecraft, the horror writer who was like invented the whole pulp schlock kind of horror thing. It's all gothic-y horror with, elder demons and all that, elder gods. Well, I was doing something for his birthday where I was like, well, I'd like to have like a little mock ceremony where we summon a demon from the outer reaches to come and like talk to us about H.P. Lovecraft, just as kind of a joke. And they were like, you know what? We don't really joke like that here, Chris, because we operate in the realm of the spiritual, and we don't want to accidentally bring anything forth. And at first, I was laughing a little, and then I thought, no, I've seen those movies, man. That's a good choice. So if you're worried that somebody at Fortune Teller Bar is calling forth evil demons, they're not, man. They're on top of that. If they wouldn't let me come in and risk like destroying all of South City when like a giant slug from Dimension X comes barreling through some portal I open up accidentally in a whiskey-infused daze, they're not going to let you accidentally summon a Cenobite. That's if they have control. If you bring in your own puzzle box, if you bring your own marchand box and you're sitting there playing with it, run your finger around a little circle, up and down. If you ever look at how they operate the puzzle box in Hellraiser, they're just teaching you how to play with a vulva. They are 100% like the puzzle box is like you run your finger around the circle, up a couple lines, around another circle, in and out of a diagonal. Like it is just telling you how to move your fingers inside someone's pussy. Like it's a finger banging tool. That's all it is, which I think is great because I mean the Hellraiser movies, like Clyde Barker wrote the book, The Hellbound Heart, in like the late 70s, but the movies were in the 80s, and dudes weren't good at fingering yet. So like I think there was a very feminist ideal. I don't know why we got off on that tangent. Oh yeah, if you bring in your own Hellraiser box. They don't call it if they called that game a Hellraiser box, no one would play it. They'd be like, oh, well, shit, we shouldn't mess with that. But if you bring in your own, it's not a Tesseract. That's the thing from the Avengers. Oh, man, I can't remember what it's actually called. I'm just having a brain pause there. We're just going to keep calling it a puzzle box. If you bring that in and you summon forth 3 or 4 very sadomasochistic demons, that's on you. Buy them a drink at the Fortune Teller Bar at 2635 Cherokee. They're going to eventually stop sponsoring me, unfortunately. And I'm going to be like, no, I understand. Across the street from the Fortune Teller Bar is El Chico Bakery, empanadas, orejas, conches, toleras, galletas, and on weekends, tamales, tons of tamales, green and red. I could have said roja y verde, but come on, I'm white. Like, and not just white, like the worst Spanish accent using white. We go on vacation to Mexico, I'm not allowed to speak a lot of Spanish because my accent is so terrible. My wife is like, no, man, I'll take care of this. And she does, and good for her. Stop in, tell them I sent you, tell them I said hi, tell the whole gang, yo, good job. El Chico Bakery, 2634 Cherokee. And then if you're still like in the mood, you can't do it the day I'm recording this because they don't do Taco Tuesdays. But if you're listening to this on a day that's not Tuesday, stop in at Taco Circus, 4258 Schiller Place, right there at Schiller and Morganford, right there like just south of Beeville Mill. Go to Giant Beeville Mill, go a few blocks south, keep going. If there's a sign on the building that says Taco Circus, walk in and order some tacos. You could try walking into other buildings and ordering tacos. I can't guarantee they'll have them. Also, if you walk into a building that says Taco Circus, and it's not, they don't sell tacos, you're not in Taco Circus. You're in some imposter. They're probably going to steal your kidneys. Run. 4258 Schiller Place. And then, of course, our good friends at the Crow's Nest, 7336 Manchester, right in the heart of downtown Maplewood, across the street from the Schnucks Market, where you can buy your inhaler that has an amphetamine base, right there next to the Vicks stuff. Don't buy the Vicks stuff. Vicks doesn't have the amphetamine in it, but that inhaler does. But we don't care about that part. They're not a sponsor. Fortune Teller is. Go in. They have Taco Tuesday. So if it's Tuesday and you're looking for tacos, go to Fortune Teller. They have a taco-based product. It might not be an actual taco. It could be an enchilada. We're going to have a talk about that. You can't just call it Taco Tuesday and just give me a tortilla-based product that's not a taco and expect me not to rage against you. I'm not against them. They're friends. We all get it. Look, going on Wednesday night, we have Wildcard Comedy Open Mic. It's a comedy open mic that takes place in the front of the room, hosted by myself and JC Sabala. If you're a comic who wants to do some time on that mic, show up at 10 o'clock to sign up. If you're just a person who wants to see an open mic, show up around 10:30. That's when the show starts. It's a good time. Where was it? Crow's Nest, 7336 Manchester. What else is going on? Yeah, so no, we're back on our regular recording schedule. You should get 2 of me a week, 1 of Sam, and 1 of Yale. So make sure you keep up on your Spotify. We cleaned up the Spotify stream. So if you logged in to your, well, not just Spotify stream, we just cleaned up all the streams. So even if you listen on iTunes, if you logged in and you're like, man, there used to be 300 episodes of this. What's going on? We took a lot of them down. Made the second season that we're doing right now, the main one. And then we'll go back and we'll add some of the better episodes from the first 100 or so. We'll add them a little bit at a time just so you got some replays in there. Not replays because it's not broadcast anymore. But, you can listen to them again. We'll make them new because there are some good ones. But it's just there's too much signal or too much noise and not enough signal. That's all it is. I loved all those shows for the most part. My voice grates. I love everyone we have a guest on. That's cool. We'll do some clip shows out of them. But that's where they are. If you look through and you're like, oh, what the hell, man? There's only 60 episodes now. Yeah, that's probably better that way. Anyway, so if you're listening to Spotify or Apple or Stitcher or Last.fm, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Podburner, Afterpod, Tide Pod, Pod Racer, Pod People, all the different services. Really, it's amazing. As a human species, we have not defeated cancer as a disease, but we have figured out every play on the word pod that is possible. Good for us. Good for us. But anyway, whatever you listen on, you'll notice your streams changed. But keep up on it, man, because it's going to be fun. Like I said, at least 2 of me a week. I'll still be doing stuff from home too and releasing those as I do. So that's enough of the housekeeping. That was all. Let's get back to the money laundering. No, we're not. We're done with that. I had a show. This is important. I think it's not money laundering important, but it is important because it's technology based and technology runs our life. We are all just serving our robot masters. We are all just on our way, barreling into the singularity, hoping that it takes us quickly and gives us a different reality to live in. I drove to a show the other night. I've been doing these small town shows. If you listen to the episode where I give cannibals all the tips they need to really operate efficiently in a small town, I am all about good business advice, by the way. I know people are like, oh, it's all demons and darkness and drugs and whiskey and stuff. Yeah, it's that. But also, I give practical business advice to everyone. If you listen to that advice where I teach you how to run a small town full of cannibals, how to properly lure people in, distribute the food, how to pay your tax to the vampires, all of that, you will know. This is all practical stuff you'll need to live a fruitful life and run a good enterprise. I should have said a good life and a fruitful enterprise. Doesn't matter. Point is, here comes some more good advice for our friends at Google Maps and probably Apple Maps if that exists. I don't have an iPhone. I don't know what iPhone people use for directions. Is it Google Maps? Like, I know how technology works, so I don't need an iPhone. I don't need my technology spoon-fed to me by a large corporation that says, here, we made it pretty and easy, which is funny that they should use both of those. They probably don't use those both words, but it's like synonyms. But iPhones seem like be really hard for people older than me to figure out sometimes, so it can't be that easy. So easy a 3-year-old can use it, but a 4-year-old wouldn't want to. Anyway, the point is, I've been doing these small town shows. They've been fun. They've been good. I love the audience. I don't mean small town in a pejorative way. I just mean like the town has maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people in it instead of 800,000, whatever. So like people from all 4 towns around come over too. It was a packed house. This guy Nate Barron runs them down in St. Francis County, Missouri. This one, it was really good. The audience was fun. The bar was good. The people were fun. The show was good. But driving down, I had to drive down Highway 21 here in Missouri for this. It was an adventure. It was an adventure. I just took Google Maps, man. I took all the advice Google Maps gave me. I got off the big highway, the real highway, the one the state pays to keep up, the one the federal government backs with your tax dollars. I got off the highway that has the federal regulations that make sure every overpass is big enough for a truck with a tank on the flatbed of the truck to be transported underneath, or at least have an exit near enough to where it could go over the overpasses that aren't tall enough. I got off that highway with those kind of I got off the highway that was designed expressly with the intent that in case of a nuclear strike by a foreign country, all Americans were advised to get in their cars and get on the highways and start driving, just because every federal highway is built with a gutter on the side that makes it easier to bulldoze cars into those gutters. And if the cars are full of bodies, you come back later with dirt and you basically just cover up the cars full of dead bodies that have been irradiated. And then you start over. I got off that highway that was like the pinnacle of civilization is the American highway system, which granted they stole from the Nazis. Like, that sucks. Like, I wish they could have got it somewhere else. It's weird that, like, don't get me wrong, Michael Jackson's a piece of shit for being a child molester, but it's weird that we feel way guiltier about listening to PYT than we do driving on a highway designed by Hitler. But that's whatever, man. You make your own peace with everything. But I got off that big highway and I got on like a little tiny road that they called a highway, and I drove that for about 50 miles. And this thing, like, it's got a speed limit of 75 miles an hour in most places. And every like 50 feet is a right angle. That's a curve, they call it. But it's like, you should use a turn signal. I had to brake real hard to the right on this thing. And the highway makes no sense. Like, there's the analysis of the hallways in the Overlook Hotel in the movie The Shining, and how if you lay that into a map, it makes no damn sense whatsoever. The Cosby House in The Cosby Show, like Bill Cosby, rest in peace, man. Like, that was you monster. But the house on his show, like when you get up to the second floor, it makes no sense. Like when you try and lay that on top of the brownstone they show you in the credits, like, no, that's not that house. The hallway in the hotel and The Shining is the same way. Highway 21's like that, man. I don't know how you can have 9 different right curves on the highway that supposedly goes straight from one location to the other, but it does it. And they're like, you got to, like, I don't know. I had to hit my brakes and slow down below 50 miles an hour to take these turns. Luckily, country drivers are really courteous and patient and will like definitely give you a lot of time when you're on a highway you're unfamiliar with. They will in no way drive 90 miles per hour behind you, flashing their brights at you as you try to not run off the road on a dark night when the wind is up to 70 miles an hour. I don't know if you caught the sarcasm of that. They did the second thing, not the patient thing where they just let me figure it out, man. Assholes. Anyway, but I drove it all the way there, just like white knuckling the steering wheel. What was supposed to be on paper was like an hour 18. It took me about an hour 30, hour 45. Just following Google's instructions. Highway makes no sense. It's 2 lanes in most places. There's like a couple 1-lane bridges. I don't know what to do at a 1-lane bridge. Who has the right of way? The vehicle that comes to it first? What if both vehicles are doing 85 miles an hour and get there at the same time? Do they just hit head on and it's like a no-fault accident? because both of them were. I don't know what to do when it goes to a 1-lane bridge. Who crosses? Ichabod Crane? Probably. But I got to the venue eventually, and I was just like, oh, thank Christ I'm not on the road. And Nate, the guy organizing the show, walks up and goes, how was the drive down? I'm like, it was really, really shitty, actually. I don't know. I'm taking a different way home, man. That highway, that's rough. And he goes, yeah, they call that Blood Alley. And that really made me realize there is a feature missing from Google Maps, from Navigate. Like, there is definitely a menu option that should be designed and added back to it. You know, when you pull up directions to a place, like if I'm sitting here in this studio and when I leave, I'm like, hey, Google, tell me how to get to King Edward's Chicken and Fish on Watson Road. Google's going to let me decide if I want to take the highway. I could click avoid highways. We don't have tollways in the St. Louis area yet, but if we did, I could click avoid tolls. Like, my Chicago friends know this. When you're going somewhere in one of the outer suburbs, you can click to avoid the tollways if you're going from the city into the outer suburbs. Good. We don't need to do that, but you could. You could click all these different options for adjusting your route. This navigation program is connected to the largest database of information in humanity's entire history. There's not an option for me to click avoid places called Blood Alley. That seems like very, like, I don't know. I should be able to go, okay, Google. My phone's going to bleep. Yep. Anyway, I should be able to say that and then be like, navigate away. That's me. I'm not going to make it do it anymore. I hope I made your phone go off too when I did it. Gardner's like, oh, that's professional. Anyway, I should be able to say, okay, you know what? And be like, give me directions to King Edward's Chicken and Fish. And then also say, also avoid Blood Alley. And it should give me an alternate route. But I can't. And that's if I had known originally that it was called Blood Alley, I probably was still taking it because that sounds pretty badass. And I'd want to tell people I drove down Blood Alley, which is essentially what I'm doing. Like, I am complaining about the fact I couldn't eliminate that as a travel option, only so I can brag, go, hey guys, like, I survived Blood Alley. It was a dark night in March 2019. I was driving to a comedy show in Potosi, Missouri. And little did I know that Blood Alley would run dark that night. It was dark, man. They have no streetlights. Like, hey, if you live in the country, man, and like you're looking for ways to improve your life, get streetlights. Like, a little light pollution. You see less stars, but more cars, and that's what you're looking for. Whatever. What else? I don't know, man. Do your thing. You don't have to put streetlights in if you don't want. I don't know why I'm so demanding on other people's lifestyle. It's not mine. I have plenty of streetlights where I live. It's not like it's any better. Now I can see all the people trying to murder me every day. This is dumb. This is dumb, but it was also funny at the same time when it happened, so you get to hear it. I bought clothes the other day, which that part's not dumb. I have to buy clothes. I have a job where I have to dress, not a certain way, but I at least have to dress. Like, I can't go in naked, and in order to do that, I need clothes. Plus, like, at home, I'll walk around naked. I don't know if I'm going to walk around society naked. Like, if we just decided clothes are optional here in our society, like, hey, man, we're all going to be open and honest with each other about what we're dealing with. Go ahead and throw all the rags that are on your body, throw them off into a pile and burn them and be free. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm probably going to at least wear a robe. But I don't know. That's something to think about. How free do I want to be? But I was buying clothes the other day from a store I go to. It's a store that specializes in big and tall clothing. They're not a sponsor. I don't need to name them. Also, I don't want you going there because, like, you'll go there and then buy the clothes. The sizes I wear are the most popular sizes they sell. So it's always, everything I'm looking at is either one size too big or two sizes too small, because everybody narrows right in the range of where my actual size is. So don't go there. Go somewhere else. But I was buying clothes there the other day, and they also, like, have decided they're not just a clothing store. They're a lifestyle store, which, fuck you, man. Sell clothes. So I'm at the counter, and this is going to be sexist. This really is, but it's sexist in a good way, I think, because it creates opportunity for people. Well, it's also sexist both ways. Like, it's not really sexist. It's sexploitive of whoever you're attracted to. I think clothing stores for big and tall dudes especially should only hire like hot men and hot women to work there. So whatever you're into, like that's who's selling you clothes. So when you're picking, and they would make more money. Like, so when you're looking at like a 4-button sweater with a Henley collar and you're holding it up against you in the mirror, they come up and gently put a hand on your shoulder and go, you look really nice in that. Or if you're into it, you look really nice in that, whatever. And they whisper that in your ear and you're like, I look pretty good in this. And then you buy it and you spend money. That's who I think should be selling me clothes. I don't know why I need to be aroused when I buy clothes, but I'm already aroused when I look at them. So let's just finish the product. But now they're a lifestyle store. And I'm standing at the counter and I'm talking to the very nice person checking me out, who did not put her hand on my shoulder and say, you look very nice in that. But she did say, I like that shirt. That's kind of the same thing. But then the dude who works there, who is neither of those things. And I'm not saying like regular, not like super hot people shouldn't have jobs in the industry they want to work in. I mean, I get to work and I'm pretty good looking actually, but whatever. But this dude who like I'm not going to buy clothes from me, but he walks over and he takes this slip of paper and he just shoves it under my nose. And it's not like the first time someone's shoved paper under my nose. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not too good to have people put things in my nose. I get it. Like, it happens, but I wasn't expecting it. And then it was just like, it was the paper just, it was, I thought he was chloroforming me. Like, it was that strong of a smell that hit me. And he's like, how's that smell? I was like, really fucking bad, man. He's like, oh, well, that's the smell of the store. And then like once like the alcohol burn in my sinuses subsided, I realized they're selling a cologne that smells exactly like the odor they pump into their store. And I was like, I don't really need to smell like your store everywhere you go. Like, I'm assuming the smell in the store is to encourage people to buy clothes. When I meet people on the street, they can't buy my clothes. So what's the deal here? And he's like, oh, I just like it. It's a good citrusy smell. And that's when I had to point out it's not just citrus. It's also patchouli, sandalwood. Like, it's a smell that should have died in the 70s, man. It's a smell that like people like my grandpa would splash on them before they went to a brothel when they were in Vietnam. It is like, it's not a good smell. Like, I get it. When you mix the citrus in, it makes everything smell like a fresh showroom, and that makes sense for a retail. I'm not going to walk around smelling like it. And the young woman behind the counter was like laughing the whole time. And I could tell that the older dude who did this to me was like really kind of agitated that his game of pointing out how good he probably smelled to him, pointing it out to the young woman was like not working. And he kept getting madder and madder. And I was like, whatever, man, you have a feather in your hat. That no one does that anymore. If you have a hat with a feather in it and you're standing at the retail counter trying to tell me that a patchouli based scent smells real good, I'm going to make fun of you. I can't help it. I don't walk around just making fun of people. Like, that's not me. I'm usually like, oh man, don't pick on that guy. Don't pick on that lady. Like, they're just living their life. But you inserted yourself into a situation in a very hostile way. Like, shoving something under my nose going, how's that smell? That's brutal, man. That's brutal. You shouldn't. Anyway, that happened. And it made me mad. I was also mad because I walk in and there's a mannequin right in the front of the store. And on the mannequin is a shirt I want. Like, I want this goddamn shirt so badly. It was a fleece kind of sweatery type shirt it was a 2-tone color block on it. It's long sleeve. It does have a Henley collar on it. It was 2-tone gray though, which, oh man, that's everything I want. It is, it fits with my, New Year's resolution to not just wear solid colors, to throw some variety in it, throw some mixed colors in it. But both of those colors were gray, so it fits my basic personality of always wearing dark tones. It was perfect. It's a beautiful shirt. It does have like a little, I'm going to hit my microphone. It does have a little space zipper on it. Like, it's just like, for some reason, an inch above the right breast, there's like a little zipper that the pocket is only good for hiding 2 cigarettes in if you wanted to. Like, no other real purpose. It's not a running shirt. It was like a sweater. But I was still sold on it. And I was like, I'd like that in my size. And they're like, oh, well, that's the last one in the store. And it's not your size. And I'm I look there. And I look at it in front of me on a mannequin. a device created to sell clothing to people who walk into clothing stores. A mannequin is like, it's a billboard for the store. It's a marquee. If the store was a movie theater, the mannequin would be the thing that says, come in and see Captain Marvel today. Like whatever's on that mannequin should be there for me to purchase. If you put, come in and see Captain Marvel, they don't put all those words. Like the marquee just says Captain Marvel. They know the come in and see is like implied. It's a movie theater, man. Don't fucking come in if you don't want to see a movie or pay too much money for popcorn, whatever. But like the mannequin is that marquee. When I see that mannequin and it's got a shirt on it says, hey man, we sell this shirt. That's commerce. That's America. Like that's the thing we build walls to protect, right? I walk in and I would like that shirt, and like that's the last one and it's the wrong size. Why are you advertising it, man? Take that shirt off the mannequin, put it on a hanger on your clearance rack if that's the case, and put something up there that I can buy. Entice me with products that are available for purchase. I get the false creation of exclusivity breeds actual exclusivity. That's cool, I guess, but I didn't like it because I was there to spend money. And again, the very nice woman who checked me out, I'm being mean, but she's like, well, we can order it online for you. I'm like, I can order it online for me. If I wanted to order it online, I would have just ordered it online. I saw it on a mannequin. Like, don't use a mannequin in a regular store to sell me something on the internet. No, that's like, I don't go to the movies and see trailers for my favorite Pornhub videos. It's the same way with retail. I don't want it. But I was just like, well, I can do that myself. Thank you. I was looking for it for a show tonight. And she's like, okay, but we get free shipping if you have it shipped to the store. I'm like, so wait a minute. You're going to go on the internet and order a thing for me and have it delivered to the store instead of my house, so I have to come back to the store to get it. And I don't know what country I'm in anymore. Like, what the hell, man? Like, stop building walls and instead start building inventory, America. Do that. And here's the, like I said, no, I bought different clothes because I really was looking for something to wear that day. And also that's a ripoff. Like, it's not free shipping if I have to come back to the store. I'm spending that. Also, I'm a platinum member of this store's loyalty program. I already get free shipping, lady. How dare you assume? You know what? Maybe she wasn't as nice as I thought she was. Maybe the Patchouli guy was a nice person in this situation. I don't know. I'll go back and find out. I'll ask him, hey, which one of you is the nice? Anyway, I'm a platinum member. I get free shipping. I didn't say that. Like, I don't want to be the guy who like Hollywoods are by pointing out how much money I spend on clothes there. But I went just for shits and giggles. I went on the internet on their website and I tried to order that shirt a day later. It's not available on their website. That shirt's been discontinued. So not only are they advertising a shirt on that mannequin that's not in the store, it's not even available online. It's like, and I realized then I worry about too many things that aren't real problems. Like somewhere in America, a cop shot a kid dead for reaching for a cell phone, and I am pissed off at a big and tall store for not having the right fat guy sweater. And I need to read more books and more news and, I don't know, drink less caffeine. Maybe. I don't know. That last part just kind of sucks. Where am I this week? If you're listening to, okay, I'll give up the ghost. I mentioned Taco Tuesday. So I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 12th of March. So if you're in St. Louis area this week and you're looking for a place to see me, I will be at Helium Comedy Thursday night, the 14th. That is March Valentine's Day. I don't know. Did men's rights activists kind of claim this as some kind of male romance day? I don't know. They do shit like that. For people that are all about how rough and tugged men are, like they rough and tugged. That's not, no. Well, I mean, they're hoping they're rough and tugged, but that's not, whatever. Whatever men's right advocate think men should be. For people that think they should be all like, grr, men. They sure do like whine a lot about stuff. Anyway, whatever. March Valentine's Day. It's probably like blowjob day or something stupid. I'm at Helium for a show called Comedy Roulette. Comedy Roulette is not your typical stand-up comedy show. The audience writes, it's like an improv show a little bit, but don't be turned off by that. The audience writes suggestions on little slips of paper. Comics draw those slips of paper on stage and create bits in front of your eyes based on those suggestions. They will not be acting like their favorite tree. Like if you write, what type of tree are you? The comic's going to make fun of the fact you asked them that. They're not going to go acting like a tree. By the way, if you're trying to figure out what kind of tree I am a Christmas tree. I die fast, but I'm beautiful the whole time. Friday night, at the Monocle. I'm on Yale Hollander's curated show, Coffee Break. It's me headlining with my friend Gwen Sunkel from Indianapolis coming in. She'll be featuring. She is hilarious. You should see her. She's great. And Chad Wallace will be hosting the whole thing. If you don't know Chad, get to know him. He's fun. He's a fun dude. That's at 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock show. I'm not sure if it's 8 o'clock's doors, 8 o'clock show. Just show up at 8 o'clock. Why does everybody in St. Louis need a whole hour before, like, to be told to show up before the show starts? I'm not a fan. Like, okay, I do it on my shows. I put 9 o'clock doors, 9:45 show. Here's the trick. It's a bar. You can show up whenever you want. Like, it's not like the doors are locked. It's just at that point, they're going to come around and be like, hey, man, give me some money. Just get there whenever, before the show. And then after that, I'm trudging, like hauling ass real fast. Trudging and hauling ass are two different terms. I'll probably be doing both, though, at various points in my journey. I'm getting down to the Crack Fox at 11:14. Olive at 9:45. We have Impolite Company. My friend Rich Braun is hosting the show for me this week. This month, it's going to be a good one. Sam Lyons, you know him, you love him from the Lion's Den. He will be out down there doing the feature of the evening. And Jeremy Helwig, friend of the show, fatal bus accident, not bust. I mean, he might have a good bust. I never look. He's got a good butt. It's really weird. I mean, he ran a lot in college. I guess that helped. I should have run. I have a big ass. I just don't have an ass. He's got like anyway, I don't know why I know so much about his butt. People have talked about it. All right. Like, it's on the internet. But anyway, he's headlined. I don't like to objectify my comics, but he's headlining. He'll be fun. He'll be funny. Come down. Don't look at his butt. Listen to his jokes. Anyway, that's at 9:45. It's $10. $2 of that cover goes to Planned Parenthood because I believe in abortions and free condoms for your kids. I think your kids should be fucking each other and not having other kids. If you've ever looked at a kid and said, I hope you have the best life imaginable, what you're saying is at some point in your life, I hope you do some good fucking. And all I want is when they do that good fucking to make sure that they're doing it with people without STDs, or at least, know how to take precautions against giving someone an STD, because sometimes it happens, man. You can't help it. Or, having a baby, which is pretty much just worse. So, yeah, we give $2 to Planned Parenthood. Come at me, bruh. That's it. That's 52 minutes of excellence. I don't know what else I could give you people that would make you happier. I could tell you about Louis C.K. being in town. Shit, I'm out of time. I can't talk about Louis C.K. Fuck him. All right, that's it. Impolite Company. Follow us on social media. Impolite STL on Twitter. Impolite STL on Facebook. ImpoliteCompany.com, where you downloaded this today. I don't know why I told you that again. Tell your friends about us. Tell your enemies about us. Tell your mom about us. Go tweet at Donald Trump and say, yo, bruh, are you listening to ImpoliteCompany.com? Maybe he has. You know what? I took 2 weeks off before coming into the studio and recording new content. I should have sat down and wrote one, but I still don't have a catchphrase. Hashtag no gods, no masters. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.